today Friday. I think today is Friday. So welcome, happy Friday to you and yours. Ready for this conversation. So excited to be with you guys today. Welcome over here on the Tick of the Talk. Hey Jennifer, good morning. Hey Yaya, what's up, Dennis? Good to see you, Melinda. Good to see you, Conchita. What's up, MG Brock? Hello, hello. Folks, if you are joining me anywhere other than TikTok, make sure you say hello so that I can speak back. I don't get to see when you come in the room. Good morning, Taryn. Hey, VJ. What's up, Outsider? Good morning. Good morning. I don't know about you all, but I'm very glad that it is Friday. Good morning, Penny GF and Sue and Farah. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Carmen. Glad to see you guys. Glad to see you all. Thank God it's Friday. Right, Conchita. Hey, Christine. Hey, Davina. Good to see you. I forgot to turn my chat on. That would be helpful. What's up, Nisi? Hello, William. How are you guys? Good morning, everybody. Hey, Melinda. What's up, Amy? Oh my goodness gracious, y'all. It's a day. Hey Jen, how are you? What's up, Rachel? Good morning, Nancy G and Renee. Good to see you all piling in here. What's up, blessed and grateful? Thanks, Davina. Happy Mardi Gras to you too as well. Yeah. So what's up, Jen the vet? How are you? What's up, Jen Inspires? The other one. Thank you, Farah, because you know what's coming after yesterday. I know it's coming after yesterday. So it's been pretty nonstop. Yeah, since then. Yeah, she is Sin. I actually, what's up, Tech Lady? I'm actually planning to take them somewhere this evening. So I'm kind of excited about that. What's up, Mo? Hey, Win Dixie. Good to see you guys. What's up, Brandy? So, hey, Kylene. Yeah. She is. Um, I have a little surprise for them when they are up and ready to go and moving around. So, good morning, Witch. Good morning, Sandra. You're so ready for spring, girl. You ain't said nothing but a word right there. I have been ready. I have been ready for spring. I do not like to be cold at all because it hurts, right? Good morning, Sherry. All right. So, listen, folks. Oh, you moved to New York? Oof, Amanda. Okay, so here's my thing. Hey Doug. So this is the thing when you say like I moved to New York, why? So I love New York. I just don't like to be cold. And New York is a place that you're going to be cold and your ass is going to be walking somewhere, right? And so I don't really, yeah, like I think I would need to be like a New York in the spring and summertime person. Yeah, the cold is intense, 100%. What's up, Mia? Good morning, Lisa. So I'm going to share with you all something that piqued my interest today. You moved to Maine, girl, go ahead. You could be about that life if you want to. It is not for me. It is not for me. So the conversation that I want to start with today, you can see that there's a two-part conversation happening today. One is what I would refer to as semantics and antics, which is why the past tricks of the patriarchy won't work today and men will be held accountable. Um, and I'm going to tell you what triggered this sentiment for me this morning. And I have been, so let me just share with you all since they began being released, I have not dove into the e-files. It's just one of those things where I just don't think that it's a place where I want to spend a ton of my time, right? I just don't think that it's something that is within my circles. However, there's a conversation about the response to these files and the response from some prominent people about these files that um, I think is worth talking about. Okay. And I think it's necessary to talk about, and it does impact politics and policy and our everyday lives and all the things, right? And so see you starting off wrong already. You starting off wrong already. That just got a big ass mute real quick. Um, so um Yeah, it is a lens into how the world of money really works, but it's a lens, right? It's not the entire lens, it's one lens into how the world of money works and or how the world of money can work, right? Um and even more so than that, it is it is just wild to me to read some of these things. And I'll tell you what kind of set me off. Good morning, Kenya. I'll tell you what set me off down this path this morning. I happened to see, I happened to see an interview that Alan Dershowitz did with Chris Como with his ridiculous mustache. I don't normally say things about people's appearance, but someone who loves him should tell him that's just not his best look. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning. I'm just saying, like, do you have a friend? Because if you had a friend, they would tell you that's not your best look. Um, but I saw this Alan Dershowitz interview, and just saying, and it was he was being interviewed about why the DOJ had not released the files, right? That was the context of this interview. And good morning, Invisible String. And so in this context, he's talking and he's saying, "Oh, it's not what people think it is," right? And Chris Cuomo is saying that Alan Dershowitz has quote unquote seen the files. And my first question would be, how would Alan Dershowitz have seen all of these 6 million documents, right? Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Sandra. Dominic, one second. Dom, hey, Mary. It's here, baby. Um, okay, and so Alan Dershowitz is well, but Alan Dershowitz was Jeffrey's personal attorney at one point, right? He would not be privy to necessarily everything in the investigation, and there are things in these documents that came out after Jeffrey was no longer with us. Here, yours is the one you and Bella have with cheese, and Mila has without. And I can take hers out if she's when she's ready. Good morning, Audra. Good morning, Sharon. And so, good morning, Mel Gray. So, these are the things that are important. So let me see if I can play this clip. I don't know that I want to play this clip for all intents and purposes because TikTok likes to act funny sometimes. But let me see if I still have. What are you doing, Mila? You trying to sneak up on me? Silly. You ready for some eggs and bacon? Yeah? Okay. It's over there. And if you'll hand it to me, I'll take hers out. So no, I turned around and looked, y'all, and Mila was down here. Hey, Chucky, she was crawling on her hands and knees, like around up under my desk, trying to surprise me because it was really cute to see her slinking like a little cat, trying to get to me. But anyway, okay, so let me see if I still have it pulled up, and I maybe don't. She's feeling better, Lisa. Nope, you. And hold on, because you have to hand her hers, bud, please. Thank you very much. I just need you to help me, baby, because your tutu that's Bella's, so that means this is Mila's. Yeah, she's getting back to herself, definitely. If y'all bear with me 1 second, I got to feed the babies, and the babies always come before everybody else. This is all her, but she won't eat the biscuit. Oh, there you go. Well, I meant to leave that. Okay, there you go. That's hers. Thank you, baby. I know. Okay, so listen. So here's what Alan Dershowitz said. So he starts off on Chris Cuomo, and he starts off by saying, God, I have so many tabs open, you guys, because I've been neck deep in this stuff all morning. But he starts off with Chris Cuomo today. when I'm watching the video today, and basically here's what he says. He said, I know, Penny GF. He says, well, 10 minutes before you got started, your previous guest called him a 3PDO, right? TikTok is weird. I can't say over on TikTok. And he said, and he's not. Listen to what he said. He said, your previous guest and everyone calls him a 3PDO. And he pled guilty. I want to play the video for you guys because it's different hearing him say it. Shit. Why did I close it out? I didn't mean to close it out. And I didn't think that I did, but apparently I did. Sorry, you guys. And then I started watching Les Wexner's interview, and yeah, his deposition, and that's a whole nother thing all in itself, right? Hold on, let me just get it for you guys. Let me see. Alan Dershowitz. There it is. I got it. Look how quick that is. Because, here we go. All right. So this is from November 15th of 2025. Good morning, Sunflower Fish. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, A Breeze. And yeah, he was laughing throughout the entire deposition. He was. Okay. So I am going to play this for you guys. And this is Alan Dershowitz, and he's being interviewed by Chris Cuomo. And I'm going to share it with you guys over here. And I'm going to let you all listen. You guys ready? Good morning, Cynthia. Look at me finding things this morning. I'm so proud of myself. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Charlene. All right. You guys ready? I'm going to turn this up so everybody can hear it. Good morning, Renee. All right. So, and then we're going to talk about why this set me off. Okay. So here we go.
Before you went on, the predecessor on your show described Jeffrey Epstein as a convicted pedophile. He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile. And
okay. So did you hear him say this? He said, your previous guest called Jeffrey a 3PDO. And he said he pleaded guilty to having schmecks with a 17-year, 10-month-old. Let me tell you something. If you are making distinctions based on 10 months old, so listen, okay, so let me tell you why my headline today says semantics and antics, all right? So Alan Dershowitz, first of all, is a lawyer. Remember that above everything else. And he spent years and years and years being Jeffrey's lawyer, right? And so if you notice what he said, he didn't say he's not one. He didn't say he's never done anything that might qualify as that. He used the plea deal as a justification or as evidence that he's not. Here's what did you hear what he said? He said, your previous guest referred to him as a 3PDO, right? And he said he pled guilty to. Okay, that's what he pled guilty to. But let me just be clear. He didn't just plead guilty to one person. That case was not one person. That case was multiple people. And those girls were 15, 16, and 17 years old. They all went to the same high school. All of them. And this is what I mean. So let me tell you what I did a little bit today. Okay. So I decided to find out, what are the distinctions in all of this? Since Alan Dershowitz wants to play semantics, we don't know right from wrong. Okay. So let me just be clear. So I looked it up, and technically, according to psychology terms and medical terms, he would be correct, because a 3PDO, by those definitions, typically refers to someone that is 11 years old or younger. prepubescent, pre-puberty. Okay. That's typically what 3-PDO means in the psychology world. So here's what I wanted to know. What does it mean when you're attracted to people between the ages of 15 and 18? Would you like to know that term? It's called ephibolia. Shit. Hold on. I was saying it right before I went live. The name is ephibophilia. Epibophilia, that's the term. So, epibophilia is what the fuck he is. So that when you look it up, EPHEBOPHILIA, that word means that you are specifically attracted to people that are between the ages of 15 and 18. Yes, Wells, that's what I said. That's what the fuck Jeffrey is. Now, just to reiterate something, at the time that he is engaged in these acts, because remember the investigation began in 2005. Okay. The investigation began in 2005. Would you like to know how old Jeffrey Epstein was in 2005? Does anybody know how old he is? How old he was? Jeffrey Epstein was 52 years old in 2005. He was born in 1953. He was born in 1953. In 2005, he was 52 years old. Right, Charlene. The twisting of words and leaving a framework askewed, right? So technically, medically speaking, all right, people just use the wrong word. It means the same thing. It insinuates the same thing. People know the ages of the girls. People know they were 15, 16, 17 years old. People are aware of that. But just for shits and giggles, I decided to dip into the files for just a little bit this morning. I planned to be on an hour ago, but I got a little carried away in the files. And there were things that I thought we should just cover specifically in emails. They don't all relate to underage girls. They don't all, right? But what's really interesting is that when you look at them, it's the way that they talk about women, the way that they talk about girls, the way that they refer to people. It's absolutely wild. Kenya, they're on the Department of Justice website, or you can go to jmail.world. Yeah, but Swells, there's actually somebody that took all of the documents that have been released by the DOJ and they put them into a Jmail format. So it's searchable just like Gmail. So you can go to jmail.world and you can search them and you can read them and you can see them. And if you go to jmail.world/drive, they have indexed the videos and the pictures and all of those things. People have even been reading them and they have starred the ones that they think are pertinent. Good morning, Kat. Right? So good morning, Jay Nice. So check this out. Before I get into the actual legal evidence, because I've read this before and I'm going to just tell you right now, it's a rough read. But before I go into that, I just printed off. Y'all can tell my ink has been at work again today. I'm just going to go through a couple of emails that give you a glimpse into how his mind works and how things really were. Okay. It's crazy. So Darren Endike, who's an attorney that was part of this whole deal and runs Jeffrey's estate, right? He sends an email to Kathy Rumler, Michael Wolff, copies himself, and he copies Jeffrey on it, right? And he talks about, everybody's talking about the plea deal, right? And he's saying There were holes in the state's case. Your lawyers defended you and they pointed out those holes. And it was not a decision by the state not to prosecute you, but it was. According to the plea deal, when you read the plea deal itself, it says, considering the history of Jeffrey, considering him, that it was in the best interest of the United States to give him this plea deal. They said it was in the best interest of the state of Florida to give him this plea deal. That's what the non-prosecutorial agreement says. So don't tell me that the state didn't decide what charges to bring and what charges not to bring, because they absolutely did. They absolutely did. And it really says it. So I need for you all to understand, there would have never been a federal charge or a state charge if it wasn't for the Palm Beach police chief. No, it wasn't Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was not the attorney general in Florida until 2 years after this plea deal was done. It was not Pam Bondi. It was Alex Acosta who did this deal. He was the federal prosecutor. And then the state prosecutor was a dude. Pam worked as an assistant state's attorney in a different county. This was not her. And people need to stop saying it's her. It was not her. Alex Acosta was the federal USA prosecutor, and then the state's ASA was someone different. And the state's AG was someone different. Well, I'll tell you his name. Hold on, I'll look it up for you. He's not the main person, because why? They were federal charges. Silly. So, Pam Bondi, AG of Florida. Do you want to know when Pam Bondi was the AG of Florida? From 2011 to 2019. When was the plea deal done? 2008, 2009. No, she did not work under him. She was in a different county. Hold on a second and I will tell you. Pam Bondi, in 2008 to 2009, her position in Florida had nothing to do with this case. Bill McCullen, thank you. So she was the assistant state attorney and spokesperson specifically for Hillsborough County State's Attorney's Office at the time. Hillsborough County, completely different than Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County was someone else. So if you read Palm Beach County, let me see, state attorney, 2008. This is why Google can be your friend. Nope, hold on. So it was Barry Krischer. It was Barry Krischer. He's the one who handled the Jeffrey Epstein case. And then Michael McAuliffe took office as the new state attorney in early 2009. It was Barry E. Krischer. Well, so what's bigger than Alex Acosta getting appointed? So he was in the DOJ before that. Do you all know that? Alex Acosta was working for the DOJ before he became the USA in Florida. Alex Acosta was working in the DOJ for Jeb Bush. He was assigned to be the USA for Florida about 5 months after the investigation into Jeffrey became known by the Palm Beach Police Department. So the Palm Beach Police Department did their probable cause affidavit May 1st, 2006. This is when they put it all down. They began the investigation March 15th of 2005. That is when the Palm Beach County Police Department began the investigation, was March 15th of 2005. Alex Acosta was appointed late in the summer of 2005 to be the AUSA in Florida. And then he took office in the fall. Prior to that, though, he was working at the DOJ. But let me just back up. And okay. some of the things that I wanted to point out. It's not all hearsay, John. And you just sound silly when you say that. No, she was not at the time. Okay. So to give you an idea, I'm going to give you a couple of emails that came directly from the files this morning that I thought were interesting. And I don't know who this is from because it's redacted. Okay. But what it says is hate letters are pouring in off the Reuters piece, one of which I answered as you saw. The Supreme Court just struck down Trump's tariffs. The Supreme Court just struck down Trump's tariffs. Yay. We'll take the wins. We'll take the wins. We'll take the wins. Hey, Tim Ratliff, good to see you. Right. We'll take that win. Okay. And he says, but in a day or two, The Guardian will come out with a lengthier piece in which they tried to trap me and succeeded in good part because it was Sunday and I was already enjoying myself. The key, listen to this. I don't know who this is from. This is so important, you guys, because listen to what this person says. I know we're celebrating the tariffs win, but I'm reading. So here we go. All right. So here's what it says. Hate letters are pouring in off the Reuters piece, one of which I answered, as you saw. We do not know. This is someone sending this to Jeffrey Epstein, and the subject is just PS. So we don't know who it's from, but listen to what they say. Yeah, I know, River Ray. I went looking and then I realized it was late and I needed to go live. So listen, he says, but in a day or two, The Guardian will come out with a lengthier piece in which they tried to trap me and succeeded in good part because it was Sunday and I was already enjoying myself. The key are the 14 to 15-year-old girls. Dash, am I a schmex pervert because I say they are now of reproductive age? I do hope there is no legal jeopardy for you in this flurry of activity, and my heart goes out to you, brother. Being called a schmexual pervert is no fun, less so if you have served time for the crime, as I have not. They are calling me one merely for not urging your unaliving by beheading. We'll be back in touch. Hope you are fine and more than well protected. So whoever this is from is referencing 14 to 15-year-old girls and saying, well, they're of reproductive age. So I hear you that they're not 8 or 9. It doesn't say who it's from. And I doubt it would be the Sultan that's talking to Reuters or the Guardian. I seriously doubt the Sultan would talk to the Guardian. You know? So Jeffrey was a member of some site that was based out of the Netherlands. And the site no longer exists anymore, as you can imagine, but it was called supermodels.nl for the Netherlands. Okay. So this is an email from that site to Jeffrey, and it says supermodels.nl-new, and then there's parts that are redacted. Maybe I should take this down in the background. Guys, stop guessing who it's from. We don't know. we literally don't know who it's from. Okay. But as you can see, it's redacted. But here's what's important about this particular email, because Jeffrey got this email because he's a member. So here's what it says. Dear supermodels.nl member, this time a beautiful Dutch redhead and from Denmark, 15-year-old future star. Enjoy. No, Brooke, Prince Andrew is the only person being arrested. There are 3 people that are under investigation in Norway. But literally, and it's redacted, so you can't see it. But it says 15 from Denmark, 15-year-old future star enjoy. Now, let me tell you something. It is alleged that Jean Lou, who was the model, the French model dude, right? It is said that he was working out a plea deal and he was ready to testify against Epstein. I don't know if that's true or not. What I do know is that when you go into the files, right? If you do a search for certain terms, like I did, you will actually see there's something called a flip video. Have you all ever heard of something called a flip video? There were these, he sent a ton of emails to Jeffrey, and it would say new flip video, new flip video, new flip video. And they are all 15 to 30-second videos from Jean-Luc to Jeffrey. And Jean-Luc was the guy that did all of the modeling. He did the modeling agency in Europe. Yes, baby. I see. So, then none of the links with the videos and things like that are active. They're all gone. I see that. That's cool. So again, yep, go back, Jack. We just talked about it. Yeah, Flip was a handheld recording device. Yeah, so that's where he sent all of these videos. Yep, Natalie, we just talked about it. Next. So this is between Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine says to him, well, so first let me say, Jeffrey sends her an article from the Daily Beast, and it lists Bill Clinton, Katie Couric, Woody Allen, Jeffrey Epstein, society friends, close ranks. And then there's another Daily Beast article that's in blogs and stories, and that's where it's posted. And so Jeffrey sends this to Ghislaine. Okay. And somebody asked me the date of that. That was in 2014. The one from Denmark with the 15-year-old, that was from 2014. It is August 5th, 2014. Okay. So this is in 2011. This is 2011. And so Jeffrey sends this email to Ghislaine, and it's got this Daily Beast article. And Ghislaine writes back with a little plus sign. And she says, quote, if we could prove definitively that she was 17, then that would stop all this 15-year-old shit. They are stuck on 17 being this permissible thing. 17 just makes it okay. Maybe that's why they still haven't arrested and prosecuted Matt Gaetz, right? Maybe that's why. Because the House Oversight Committee found, and they said, substantial evidence, right, to show that Matt Gaetz engaged with sexual activity with a 17-year-old. That's from the House Oversight Committee. That report came out in December of 2024. Right? So maybe I'm mistaken, but maybe the year of legal age has somehow been reduced to 17. So when she says that, Jeffrey replies back and he says, remind me Monday. Now, the next part that I want to share with you, is to demonstrate how he thinks about women and the way he goes about these things. Oh, wait, I'm going to get his ass in a second. So it's not, for me, it's not just about, well, no, because he's not always in Florida, Rachel, right? He's in New York, he's other places. Okay. But dang, did that thing not print? I printed out something and I don't think it came out. Jeez, oh Pete. That's not good because then I closed it out. But do I still have it up? I do still have it up. Go me. I love that. So I don't know why it's not. No, it's not offline. Hold on, I'm rebooting the printer because I want this 56-page document. Okay, so well, the thing is, okay, so I just want you to hear how they talk, and even if they're not underage, I just want you to hear the way they talk. So this is between it's from somebody whose name is redacted, and Jeffrey, and this is in 2018. You guys, this is in 2018. Yes, I did, Mr. B. We just talked about it. And so Jeffrey says to her, oh, hold on. I want to make sure I don't have two of them together. Oh, yeah, that's a different one. I did have two together. Okay, you ready? So Jeffrey says to her, try to find a 19 to 21-year-old. And then she replies back and she says, hi, Jeffrey, how are you? I was looking for a girl also on the internet, but it's so difficult to find a nice, open-minded person here. It's really unusual in our small country. And here, many girls are very, very conservative and arrogant. I even don't know where and how to find an open-minded person to come together with me. He replies back and says, not worry, come alone. She replies back, okay, can't wait to see you. I just want you all to understand, this is another glimpse into how he thinks and how he operates. And this isn't the only one like this. He says things like this all quite frequently. So, for example, he's having a conversation between himself and a woman by the name of Sasha Volkova. Sasha Volkova. And geez, oh Pete, let me start at the beginning. He messages her and says, all good. She replies back and she says, I'm back in London. Thank you so much for your help. Coney Island and Brighton Beach worked out perfectly except for the storm and the fact that I almost unalived on a roller coaster but felt I had no choice as I had to create a shared experience to make it romantic. Was worth it though. How is Alan life? Jealous. Hope to see you soon. He replies back and says, you owe me a 20-year-old. She replies back and says, haha, will do my best. This is in 2018 when he's like 64. You owe me a 20-year-old. He's ordering women by their age and what they look like. He's literally ordering women through other girls. This one girl says, okay, let me, this is in 2013, okay? This is in 2013, and it's from Michaela. And so she messages him August 11th of 2013, and she said, yeah, we know about the tariffs. So listen, she replies to him and she says, 19-year-old, Slovakia, very cute, any interest? She's messaging Jeffrey. She's emailing Jeffrey. And she says, 19-year-old, Slovakia, very cute, any interest? He replies back, where is she? How are you? She replies back and says, New York. He replies and he says, how are you and the baby? She says, I'm very well, thanks for asking. If you want to meet her, let me know when you land in New York and I will get you or your assistant in touch with her. He replies back the 23rd with a question mark. And she says, great, I'll send you her number a little bit later today. The discussion is like, it's like this 19-year-old Slovakian girl. It's literally, it's so wild. So here's another one. This is between Jeffrey Epstein and Roger Schenck. Who Roger Schenck is this really well-known academic, right? Like they're ordering pizza, ordering women off a menu. Yeah, I know, Rachel. Well, so in the one video, there's a paternity DNA test sitting on his office desk. So in this one, Roger Schenck emails Jeffrey and says, apparently you were discussed. A woman said she overheard, this is in 2009, by the way. This is in 2009. Apparently you were discussed. A woman said she overheard two 15-year-olds discussing going to your house, and they said they were going because their dads had agreed that they could then sue you. Jeffrey responds back and says, find out who they were, please. What the fuck? Right? It is literally like ordering that it's crazy. You told me about your 20, this is from Karina to Jeffrey. You told me about your 29-year-old Belarusian friend. One of my friends asked if I knew anyone around that age. Is she nice? I found this one really interesting because there's a girl that wants to go to Berkeley. Okay. And she apparently is getting herself into recruitment for Jeffrey. Okay. Hold on. These are two emails. Okay. So, nope. I want the one where the girl says, oh my Lord. This is what I get for printing them all out. I thought this one was interesting. So this is from Landon Thomas Jr., a financial reporter for the New York Times. I thought this exchange was interesting. This is in 2015. Got it? And so he emails Jeffrey, right? And he says, where's the beginning? I have to find the beginning of the daggone email. Okay. He says on Tuesday, December 8th at 2015 at 5:41 p.m. Now everyone coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump because of this. And he puts the Trump quote in there that says, quote, I've known Jeffrey for 15 years. Terrific guy. Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. That story will never die. Right? And this is from Landon Thomas Jr. at the New York Times. He's a financial reporter. And so he sends this to Jeffrey. Jeffrey responds and says, Would you like a photo? That was at, oh shit, hold on. I got to read them in order because they mix them up, and I believe they mean to be honest. Something is redacted. Jeffrey writes back, my 20-year-old girlfriend in 93 that after 2 years I gave to Donald. And then Thomas Jr. Landon replies back and he says, I am serious, man. For the good of the nation, why not try to get some of this out there? I would not do it myself, but would pass it on to a political reporter. And then he says, plus look at these lies. And he's putting on, and so he says, plus look at these lies. In response to a message left seeking the Trump campaign's comment on this article, on Thursday, Trump's general counsel, Alan Garten, emailed threatening legal action against BuzzFeed News. Quote, Mr. Trump's only connection with Mr. Epstein was that Mr. Epstein was one of thousands of people who visited Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Mr. Trump has never been accused of having any involvement or having any knowledge of any of Mr. Epstein's conduct by anyone, Garten wrote. And it is crazy because Thomas Landon says, look at all of these lies. And then Jeffrey emails him a picture, Hawaiian Tropic Girl, and he says the girl's name and includes a link, right? Because this was Jeffrey's 20-year-old girlfriend in 1993 that after 2 years he gave to Donald. That's what he says. And then he goes on to say, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? To which he replies back, Landon Thomas Jr. replies back, yes. He offers him pictures of Donald in his kitchen with girls in bikinis. Now, I don't know if he ever sent them to Landon Thomas Jr., but he offered them to him. And he offered them to him in 2015. Just saying. Why haven't we seen these pictures? Because I would like to. This is Palm Beach. I don't want to get to that one yet. Oh, nope, that's from Brad and their attorneys. Where is the girl? There's a girl that is recruiting for him. Nope, that's a different case. There's a girl that is recruiting for him, and she sends him these two choices. And he says to her, why would you send me a 28-year-old? And he says, this is why you can't work for me. You have to follow directions. And she's like, oh, I've never been on the recruitment side of things. But it's in exchange for him writing something for her to get into Berkeley. That's what it's in exchange for. Let me see if I pulled it up and then just didn't print it. Nope, that's the other one. So hold on, and I'll pull it up for you. Hold on, I'm looking. So because one of the things that I just started doing was going through JML and looking specifically for ages of girls. That was it. And it's interesting when you just search for like the girls, they talk about oil paintings of the girls. Leslie Goff talks about that on March 18th. It's wild. Travel for the girls to the airport, pick up at 1:30. I'll arrive in Palm Beach tomorrow. This is in 2015. And this is someone to Jeffrey. Today, Wednesday, November 25th, 4:47 P&A to arrive in Palm Beach via Delta. She booked her ticket. whoever P&A is, 7:22 p.m. to arrive at Palm Beach via JetBlue. JoJo to take the girls to the airport, pick up at 1:30. I will arrive in Palm Beach tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. Like, this is the way they refer. They refer to getting someone to come clean the girls' apartment, all these things. But it's just wild when you see even this. So somebody emails, her name is Merwin Dela Cruz. Merwin Dela Cruz emails Jeffrey Epstein in 2017 and says, we just want to say thank you for the dinner. Happy and healthy new year. Jeffrey, yeah, they had an apartment for the girls. Yeah, they had an apartment for the girls. Hold on and I'll show you. Cleaning of the girls' apartments. Morning, this is October 14, 2016. Morning, Jeffrey would like the girls' apartments cleaned once a week. We have 6 girls' apartments. I think it would be best if we can try to get them all done every Wednesday. In order to do this, we may need to incorporate to help out. I want to at least test this out. When we separate the days for cleaning, example, 3 girls Monday and 3 girls Wednesday, we tend to always miss someone due to other circumstances and then get behind. I realize each week is a different situation due to Jeffrey's schedule. But if we have all 3 of them over there, I think more will get accomplished. Do you think this is a possible scenario, or happy to listen to another idea? We'll be cleaning apartments today as they are not able to get to them. They were not able to get to them yesterday. We'll be at the house today preparing for Jeffrey's arrival tomorrow and making muffins. They had apartments for the girls, 6 apartments. Just to be clear. Just saying. But they talk about them like that. They talk about them like the girls. And it's just crazy. Book Anna and the girls tickets on the flight today to Miami and then on to Tampa American. And then perfect. Thanks, Leslie. Fantastic. And I canceled the one flight. The other is still intact. Okay, goods. I'll cancel it. Like, it's just, that's how they refer to them. So the way that I have searched these files hasn't been for prominent names. I searched the files looking for the girls and looking for the words like year olds, or abbreviations, YR and YRS. And that's how I ran across these specific things where they're referring, because like once they thank him for dinner, he forwards this on to Richard Kahn. And Richard Kahn replies back and says, to the right of Merwin is his 16-year-old daughter, and to the left of JoJo is his son's girlfriend. He sends a picture. This is how disgusting they are. When Merwin thanks him for dinner, Jeffrey sends it to Richard Kahn. Richard Kahn replies back with a picture, and he says, hey, to the right of Merwin is his 16-year-old daughter, and to the left of JoJo is his son's girlfriend. Just pervs looking at young girls all the time. It's just absolutely wild. And they didn't really want Black girls. I hope you're all well. I have a friend. She's 21, but Black. Very beautiful, though. Are you interested? This is in 2016. And then Jeffrey replies back, photo with a question mark. She sends a photo and she says, she's more beautiful in life. He replies back, what does she do? What does she want? How are you? These photos are old. She replies back and says, I'm very good. Thank you. She does school. What do you mean photos are old? The one I sent you is from last year. I told her that you need a private assistant. She asked me if it's full time because she does school. So when Alan Dershowitz goes on News Nation and he says he's not a 3PDO. Legally and psychologically, he's accurate. The appropriate term for what Jeffrey is and what many of these men are is, what did I call it, y'all? Where did I put my paper at? It is an epibophilia. Epibophilia. That is the term. EPHILIA. That's the term. But we're not going to play fucking semantics like we don't know. Well, it's not that there's no black girls. There's if I'm not mistaken, I've seen one of the survivors is a light-skinned girl. It's EPHFE, bophilia, BOPHILIA. And at the time that this plea deal is done, at the time that all of this is coming out, he is 52. He's 52 years old. Like, real talk, you all. And so this is the thing that, let me tell you what Jeffrey said. What is that? That means you are attracted to girls between the ages of 15, or to people between the ages of 15 and 18. Because Alan Dershowitz wants to make this thing that says, oh, he's not a 3PDO. Because technically, a 3PDO usually refers to people that are prepubescent, people that are 11 and under. And he says, oh, that's not him. Yeah, there's a term, Ange. There's a term. Yep. Epibophilia. Epibophilia. That's the term. Word semantics. And this is why I said semantics and antics, why the past tricks of the patriarchy won't work today and men will be held accountable. So let me just say this. Let me just say this for you all, okay? I am over 50 years old. Okay? I am over 50 years old. I grew up in a time in a place where men got away with these things. It was always fast ass little girls who are the problem. It was always little girls, and what are they wearing? And, she should cover herself up. But literally the phrase I heard all the time growing up was fast ass little girls. I grew up in an era where they always blamed girls. And we no longer live in that era. We no longer live in that era. And that is why some of these old ass men are having a difficult time wrapping their head around the fact that they did anything wrong. That's why. Because this was the fucking norm back then. This was the norm back then for a lot of people. Right? So, like, this is real stuff. I can name let me see. I can name 19-year-old, maybe 20-year-old that got a 14-year-old pregnant when I was in school. And everybody just acted like it was nothing. I know an 8-year-old that got a 12-year-old pregnant. She gave birth at 13. Nobody thought about bringing any charges or doing anything about it. Right? And so I think it's just really important that people understand the reason why the semantics and the antics won't work anymore is because this is not that time. There's no hush hush. There's no shaming victims, although they do try like hell. I don't think I said 8. I said 11 at 12. I said 12 and then gave birth at 13. And he was 18. He was 18, not 8. Yeah. So like, just to be clear, this is why these old men, sorry guys, this is why these old ass men are having a difficult time wrapping their heads around what they did was wrong. Because this is just how it's always been. And society has always co-signed old ass men liking young ass women. But if it's an older woman, right, with younger men, it's a different thing. Right? It's always been that. It's always been acceptable for men who are old enough to be your daddy to want to date you. Shares a celebrity. I'm talking about regular, everyday life. And I do not think it's a coincidence, folks. I do not think it's a coincidence that Jean-Luc and Donald Trump both had modeling agencies. I don't think it's a coincidence that both of them, that he did teen America pageants and other pageants. I just don't think it's a coincidence. I really don't. It's just wild to me. What does a real estate mogul want to get into the pageant business for? I'm just saying. It's the promise of stardom. It's the promise of this and that. It's just wild. So if you have never, ever heard the Palm Beach Police Department's probable cause affidavit, put a 1 in the chat for me. If you have never heard the Palm Beach Police Department's probable cause affidavit, put a 1 in the chats. Damn, I got to get new ink. I'm running out. Okay. All right. So I have it, and I'm going to drop this down just so you can see it. So this is it. Okay. This is it. So everybody sees the document that I'm reading from. Hey, beautiful. So, and let me say this to everyone, because the only other time that I have read this document, it was incredibly, incredibly heavy. Okay. It was incredibly, thanks, Kenny Kiss. It was incredibly heavy. So take a deep breath. If you need to walk away for a minute. I just think it's very important for people to understand exactly how we got to where we are, and why it's not okay to play semantics and antics and talk about, oh, they were all just, yeah, I drew all of the ones behind me. Yeah. And this is why it's just not okay. All right. Hey, Dominic, can you come here real quick? So, if you don't know, let me find this one article. Baby, will you get me one of my Red Bulls out of the bottom of the refrigerator? Okay. All right. So all right. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. And by the way, if you really want to get a lot more better information, a lot of times the national articles aren't the best, right? A lot of times the local Florida papers, the Palm Beach Post, the Miami Herald, they are better sources than what they're willing to print nationally. Yes, baby girl. She's making a mess. Hey, listen. Did he eat it all? That's cute. Hey, listen. And a little bit, pick up your stuff because we're going somewhere special tonight, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, girl. Did you eat your breakfast? Okay.
Not much.
All right. So here we go. Yeah. Yes, baby.
I don't want it to be hard. I think it's hard.
You think what's hard?
My eggs and my bacon.
I don't think so, babe.
It is hard.
You can ask your brother to warm it up for you. All right, here we go. Take a deep breath. I don't know what that means when shit gets done. Beautiful. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. So I want you all to remember that several of these people, like Sarah Kellen, and there's a girl that he calls like his Slovakian, there's a girl he calls his Slovakian quote unquote slave, who he purchased when she was 15 years old. Like he literally talked about purchasing her when she was 15 years old. Some of those girls went on to become recruiters and heavily involved. And they might have started out as victims, and then some of them went on to become recruiters and so forth and so on. And they are named in the non-prosecutorial agreement that they won't be prosecuted later. So let me read it to you. You ready? So this police case from the first part. So again, I'm gonna preface this by saying, I see it. Is that Rumi and Zoe and Mira and Gino? Cute. All right, so listen, this is very vivid. These are very vivid, raw accusations from the Palm Beach Police Department. This is their affidavit for probable cause from 2006. Here's what it says. From March 15th, 2005 through February 2006, the Palm Beach Police Department conducted a sexual battery investigation involving Jeffrey, Sarah Kellen, and Haley Robeson. Sworn tape statements were taken from 5 victims and 17 witnesses concerning massages and unlawful sexual activity that took place at the residence of Jeffrey at 358 El Brillo Way in Palm Beach. Good morning, Wasim. Several of the victims were recruited by and brought to the residence by Haley Robeson to perform massages for Epstein, for which Robeson received monetary compensation. During the visit, they would perform massages for Epstein, for which Robeson, during the visit, they would be introduced to Sarah Kellen, Epstein's assistant, to provide the massage. Jeffrey would enter the room and order the victims to remove their clothing to provide the massage. As the victims complied and provided the massages, Jeffrey would rub his fingers on their areas. I'm going to try to make this as PG-13 as I can. On occasion, Jeffrey would produce a massager slash vibrator and rub the victims' areas as they provided the massage. On 3 separate occasions, Jeffrey had relations and inserted either member or fingers in the victims' areas. At the conclusion of the massages, the victims were paid sums of money ranging from $200 to $1,000. The facts are reported, are as follows. It's a lot. I said it's a lot, and it's a lot. No, Mick Yankee, you're not a hooker when you're 15 years old. No, it's not. You're disgusting. You're disgusting and are about to get the boot. Boop. Blocked on YouTube. He's over here joking in the comments, saying it's a hooker's retirement plan. Disgusting. I'm not even dealing with that. Just bloop right off the bat. The fact that that many of them came from the same high school. Do y'all know how this story do you know how it all broke out? Do you know how this came to be a thing that was known? So let me tell you how it came to be known. So one of the girls, Tina Purple, I'm okay. One of the girls was at school and some of the kids were spreading a rumor, right? About her getting paid for schmecks, right? And calling her names and things like that. And so she got into a fight with the girl. They got into a fight in school. She was a freshman in high school. When the 9th grade principal, when they broke up the fight, right? Tamara girl, I'm still not running for anything, but I appreciate it. She came in talking about still advocating for you to run for president. Appreciate it, sis. Not running for anything though. But when they got into the fight and her purse was opened up, her purse was open and they discovered that she had $300 in her purse. And so they asked why, like, how did you get this money? Because that's what the allegation was. And so that's when they contacted her mother. Okay. Good morning, Abby. And her mother is who brought it down to the Palm Beach Police Department. I want to be clear that the Palm Beach police chief took this to the state attorneys and they didn't want to prosecute for anything except a misdemeanor. And he was so disgusted by the state attorney's offer, right? He was so disgusted by the state attorney's office. He, on his own accord, took the evidence and he sent it to the FBI and he went to the U.S. to the federal state's attorneys for Florida. Without the Palm Beach police chief, we would know nothing. There would have never been a 2009 plea deal. There would have never been grand jury testimony for us to read. There would have never been any of those things. The women that did the recruiting, 3 of them are specifically named in a non-prosecutorial agreement that was done as part of the plea deal with Jeffrey in 2008. But just to be clear, folks, it is the Palm Beach police chief. So these are the facts as reported. Some of this is very graphic. I'm going to try to make it okay for social media. So just go with me. You'll know what I'm talking about when I say it. On March 15th, 2005, a 14-year-old white female, herein after referred to as SG, date of birth is redacted, and her family reported unlawful sexual activity which occurred at a residence within the town of Palm Beach. SG reported that a subject known to her as Jeff had touched her area with when we go to talk about like what you would touch someone with, I'm just going to call it a tool, okay? While within his residence, Jeff was later identified as Jeffrey Epstein through a photo lineup. During a sworn taped interview, date of birth is redacted because they don't want to identify. Once this made it public, it was redacted when they made it public. There was a lawsuit to make these things public, by the way. During a sworn taped interview, SG stated that Haley Robeson, date of birth 04/09/1986. Now remember, this is 2005, right? So she's 19 at the time, who is a cousin of SG's boyfriend and classmate at Royal Palm Beach High School, worked for a wealthy man and did sexual favors for him. She also admitted that Robeson had offered her an opportunity to make money. During the beginning of the month of February 2005, SG explained that she was first approached by Robeson to go with her to Jeffrey's house. SG stated that Robeson, along with a Hispanic female, later identified at redacted, pick her up at her father's house on a Sunday. SG was not sure of the exact date, but knew it was a Sunday. SG told her father that they were going shopping, but in reality, Robeson drove them to Palm Beach. During the drive, a conversation occurred between Robeson and SG, whereas Robeson reportedly told SG that if Jeff asked her age, she should say she's 18. It was later confirmed by SG's father that Robeson picked up his daughter on February 6, 2005. According to SG's father, Robeson drove a pickup truck. SG described...
It got hard again.
That's because you took too long, baby. Give me 1 second. Baby, you can't go away. You gotta handle it while you can. Come here, go get whatever you need to get and come on. And it's not really, sissy. Come on. Hurry.
But to me, it feels like hard.
Yeah, but it's really not. It's really not. Yeah, see, it's not. There you go. For those of y'all who are new to me, these are my grandbabies, and they always come first. Yeah, that's Mila. For those of y'all who are new to me, that's my 5-year-old granddaughter. She just turned 5, and they always come first. So, all right, here we go. Yeah, her bacon got hard, so she needed me to warm it up for her. Yeah, so no, I'm good, the boss. Good to see you. Right. No, she needs none of that right now, y'all. So don't start. So I don't know if you all have seen, but this latest release from the DOJ actually has video from one of these girls telling this story. She is 15 years old. She's being interviewed by the FBI, and they like you can watch the video. Who did I see it on? I think I saw it on Law and Crime. I think that's where I saw it on. But she's a little bitty young girl, and you just see her sitting on the couch, and they're interviewing her, and she's talking about going and how old she was. And she was asked when she gave a massage, did she have her clothes on? She said no. She was asked to take it off. She was asked, what happened, and she got really uncomfortable and didn't want to say. And then he just encouraged her. He said, "You're not the only one. The other girls have talked about it. I know it's difficult for you." But that's one of the last videos that was just released. So anyway, Robeson and Jeffrey left the kitchen. Oh, hold on. I got to go back up to the front. SG described Epstein's house as a 2-story pink house with a Cadillac Escalade parked in the driveway. She recalled that Jeff's house was on a dead-end street. Upon arriving at the house, SG, nope, hey, don't say that. Rake, don't say that. Let me be clear, folks. There's been nothing that I have read that that specifically says Donald engaged in any of this. So you won't be in here getting my ass hemmed up saying that. There's been nothing that has been released that specifically says that. So, yeah, Rake, you laughing because you know that was your ass that said it. Don't do that. I am reading a probable cause affidavit because I stick to facts. Okay, so upon arriving at the house, SG stated that they walked up a driveway past what appeared to be a small guard / security room. A male approaching them, asking what they wanted. Robeson stated they were there to see Jeffrey. The male allowed them to continue walking up to the house. I'm just saying, Taryn, via the kitchen. He offered them something to drink while they waited inside. Shortly thereafter, Jeffrey and his assistant described a white female with blonde hair, later identified as Sarah Kellen, entered the kitchen. Epstein introduced himself to SG. SG described Jeff as being approximately 45 years old. He was 52, having a long face and bushy eyebrows with graying hair. Now that's accurate. Robson and Jeffrey left the kitchen, leaving SG alone in the kitchen. They returned a short time later. They all spoke briefly in the kitchen. SG was instructed to follow Sarah Kellen upstairs. SG recalled walking up a flight of stairs lined with photographs to a room that had a massage table in it. There was a door on each side of the sofa. SG recalled there being a mural of a naked woman in the room, as well as several photographs of undressed women on a shelf. Sarah Kellen told the victim that Jeff would be up in a second. Jeff entered the room wearing only a towel and told SG to take off her clothes. I want to remind you all that she is 14 years old. Hella, Raja. I want to remind everybody she's 14 years old. SG stated Jeffrey was stern when he told her to take off her clothes. SG said she did not know what to do as she was the only one there in the room. So she took off her shirt, leaving her undergarment on. Jeff had removed his towel and told SG to take off everything. SG stated Jeff was completely undressed. When he took his towel off, placing it on the floor, he lay down on the table. Buenos dias, Mr. Barrios. SG stated that she then removed her pants, leaving on her undergarments. Jeff then instructed her to give him a massage, pointing to a specific lotion for her to use. As SG began to give Jeff the massage, he told her to get on his back. SG said Jeff was specific in his instruction to her on how to massage him, telling her to go clockwise or counterclockwise. Jeff then turned over and instructed SG to massage his chest. SG was now standing on the ground and resumed massaging Jeff's chest area. SG stated Jeff held on to the small of her back as she massaged his chest and shoulder area. Jeff then turned to his side and started to rub his member in an up and down motion. Jeff then pulled out a purple tool and began to massage SG's area. SG stated there was no penetration as the tool was on top of her garments. SG recalled Jeff finishing himself because he had to use a towel to clean up as he got off the table. Jeff then left the room and SG got dressed. She went back downstairs where she met Robson. SG said she was paid $300 in cash from Jeff. Before she left, Jeff asked SG to leave her phone number. As SG, Robson, and the third party redacted are leaving the house, Robson told SG she received $200 that day for bringing her. During the course of the investigation, parental consent was granted for SG to assist with the investigation. At our direction, SG conducted controlled taped phone calls. Did you hear what I said? SG conducted controlled taped phone calls to Robson's cellular phone number. SG spoke with Robson in an attempt to arrange another meeting with Jeff. SG asked Robson what did she need to do to make more money. Robson stated, quote, "The more you do, the more you get paid," end quote. Robson had subsequently called SG back and left a voicemail for her indicating that she'd set up an appointment for SG to go to Jeff's house at 11 a.m. on April the 5th, 2005. This message was recorded from SG's voicemail. Based on the above, trash pools were established at Jeff's residence with Supervisor Tony Higgins of the Sanitation Bureau of the town of Palm Beach. The trash pool from April 5th, 2005 revealed a phone message for Jeff, which stated Haley and SG's name at 11 a.m. SG is the 14-year-old. SG is a 14-year-old from Royal Palm Beach High School. This was the time frame Robson had informed SG to be ready to go to work at Jeff's house. So SG is the 14-year-old. She was recruited by her a friend's cousin, her friend's boyfriend's cousin, and told this is how you can make money. Many of the girls we know were from poorer homes. One girl needed braces. Tracy said, has anybody else lost sound? You lost sound on Facebook? True, Rachel. And there's more. Yes, vulnerable ones, 100%. All right. So on October 3rd, 2005, Sergeant Frick and I went to Robson's residence and viewed her vehicle parked in the driveway, a red Dodge Neon. Sergeant Frick and I knocked on the door and met with Haley Robson. Robson was told that we were investigating a claim involving Jeffrey of El Brillo Way in Palm Beach. She was asked if she would accompany us back to the police station for further questioning. Thanks, Michelle. She was also told that at the conclusion of the interview, she would be returned home. Robson voluntarily came with us back to the Palm Beach Police Department. Upon our arrival at the police station, Robson was brought to the interview room in the Detective Bureau, where I obtained a taped sworn statement. I began the interview by asking Robson how she became acquainted with Jeff. She stated that approximately 2 years ago, just after she turned 17 years of age, she was approached by a friend named Molly at the Canopy Beach Resort in Riviera Beach. Robson was asked if she wanted to make money. She was told she would have to provide a massage and should make $200. Robson thought about the offer and agreed to meet with Jeffrey. So Haley at this point, Robson, is now 19 years of age. She is now graduated to the place where she's recruiting other girls. But when she was recruited, she had just turned 17. Molly, unknown last name, and Tony, unknown last name, picked Robson up and she was taken to Jeff's house. I want you all to also know, if you do not know this, the guy that was the chef and the driver for Jeff, he actually, so at one point in these documents, Jeff instructs him to rent a car for one of the girls so that she can get back and forth to his place when he needs her, right? They brought her in for questioning right here, Carla. I haven't gotten to the point whether or not there's actually a lawsuit about this. So there's a lawsuit against Jeffrey, Sarah Kellen, and Haley Robson. You can find the entire court case online. Every bit of it is there. Thanks, Sandy. So the guy that was the kitchen chef / driver guy, he kept a green folder. And in that folder was the receipts from the rental car company and the note from Jeff asking him to rent the car for the girl. This guy, I mean, he kept everything. Good morning, Irvette. So just to reiterate for folks that are just now getting here, I am reading the probable cause affidavit from the Palm Beach Police Department from 2006, right? When right before Jeffrey got that sweetheart damn deal from the federal government. Because Alan Dershowitz pissed me off this morning and wanted to play semantics with words. And I'm not a fan of that. And so I wanted to be clear that they absolutely did prey on young girls, right? Lisa, I don't know if they'll ever release them or not. I would hazard a guess and say yes. I think if we want the rest of them released, then you better make sure that we have a Democratic majority in Congress come the midterms. That's what I would say. I would say if we want everything that exists, then you need a Democratic Congress come November. That's as simple as I can make that. Okay. So yeah, I'm just saying. All right. So, so she was also introduced to a white female. So the golden calf, I do believe they will, right? Because there would be no need to introduce this legislation for the Transparency Act if they weren't intent on doing that. Yeah, I know, Delray. Yeah. So I don't think anybody cares about political affiliation. So this is my thing, folks. These files aren't partisan. These files are not partisan, folks. I don't give a shit if they are libertarian, Republican, Democrat, Democratic Socialist. I do not care what political party they belong to. I am ready for all of them to be held accountable. I don't give a shit. Period. I literally don't care. And people that come in here and want to say, well, what about so-and-so? If so-and-so's ass is in here talking about girls like that, if they have evidence like that, then so-and-so's ass needs to be prosecuted and go to jail. I don't care who they are. Absolutely, Marissa. It doesn't matter who they are, what political party they belong to, what company they're from, what country they live in. Like I do not care. Well, American Ninja, that's what it means. When you say anybody and everybody, that's what the fuck it means. Anybody that there is evidence of that they provided that. Thanks, Merlot. Yeah. So, bottom line is, right? And anybody that aided in it, anybody that facilitated it, right? And the thing about it is that, so listen, the thing about this is there's not, I don't think there are any names that have been released that have been surprising to us at this moment. Right? I think these last 3 million files are the ones that are the most damning. They're the ones that have the most evidence. They're like, as horrible as these things are, right? As horrible as these things are, the rest of it hasn't happened yet. Right, Tamara, and anybody that blocked justice for the victims. Like so this thing that I wanted to print out that was like 50 pages, right? It is, so Brad was talking. So if you don't know who Brad Edwards is, he's the attorney. He was the attorney for Virginia Giuffre. And he's been at this for years and years now, since 2009, 2008, right? And they are talking about some of the foreign girls being scared to come forward because they would get deported, right? It's absolutely wild, this communication, because there was a law that was passed about trafficking, and he thought maybe we could use this to get some of the foreign girls to come forward, because under this act they would be protected, they wouldn't get deported, right? But it's, so listen, Bradley Edwards to Michelle Dargan, July 30th, 2009. He says, "Thank you. We have our answer then. All the pieces are public record. The complaint filed by Josephsburg regarding Jeff being at the club with Ghislaine Maxwell and taking a 15-year-old home with him, a newspaper article that he indicated he was banned for similar conduct, and a no comment from Trump. He's banned. Don't worry, we will get the official word. We are setting many depositions soon, and certain people that will be set will know that information. I will keep you informed." Like, these are all right. Just saying. Let me see if I can. Hold on. So, listen to these. Hi, Michelle. I was wondering if you were able to get a members list at the Mar-a-Lago, and even more importantly, if you were able to get a list of banned members from Mar-a-Lago. Rumor has it that he was banned for having schmecks with and attempting to have schmecks with minors at the club. And we already know of a certain minor that he took from the club to his house. I will take a deposition of someone there if we need to get that to get the true information on this. But there are so many depositions to take in this case, and we're setting them right now around the country, that I would like to avoid this one if we can get the information another way. And here's what she says. She says, hold on. Brad, we have no way of getting the members or the banned members list. However, I spoke to Donald Trump today. Nothing like getting it from the horse's mouth. Anyway, he said Jeff is not a member and would not confirm or deny that he was ever a member. He would not comment at all, which is very rare for him, on whether or not Jeff got booted from the club or if he had recruited girls from Mar-a-Lago. Sorry, I couldn't be more help. I really thought he would say something. He usually does comment for all of our stories. That's why this was quite unusual. I just, hold on, let me see. I was looking to see. Yeah, this is the law that they were going under. So this is what he's saying. So this is an email to Bradley Edwards, who's the attorney. Yeah, it does say a lot, right? He says, it says T visas. Please read this important. Please read this important. I think you can offer a trafficked victim protection, asylum, and an incentive for coming forward on the case. Ask your clients if they know any of the victims who were foreign, so you can tell them about this and assuage their fears. This is a breakthrough for some of the girls because they'll be able to bring their families into the U.S. on these visas. According to Acosta, some 7,000 visas are issued annually, and the last time he checked, only 1,500 to 2,000 apply annually. that means that the word is not out about the visas on purpose, may I add. And furthermore, that there is zero effort on part of law enforcement to get it out, fear of having visas abused. More importantly, how are you feeling? Hope you're healing quickly. So yeah, that was part of the problem, was some of the girls being foreign and being scared of being deported. Give me 1 second. Hold on. All right. Nadia Marchenko. So Nadia Marchenko is the girl, she's Slovakian, and she is the girl that he literally says that they say he bragged about buying her when she was 15 years old. And that she was his quote unquote sex slave. Titan, get down. Get down. You got it? Look at him. Get him. He's in the kitchen. Yeah, I don't allow my cat in the kitchen. So Mila heard me. Titan is my cat. And so she heard me yell. She heard me fuss at Titan for him to get down. And she came out. She said, I got him, Tutu. Okay. Yes. Like Titan. Like a Titan. Yeah. She said, I got it. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do cats I love my cat, but you ain't getting in my kitchen and you're not getting on my counters. No, we don't do that. No cats in the kitchen, especially not on my damn counters. You will get sprayed with a water bottle, son. Okay. Here we go. He was tiny when I got him. All right, you ready? So here's a little bit more. So listen at the first time that Haley Robeson goes to Jeff's. She meets Sarah, and she was led upstairs to the main bedroom known to her as Jeff's bedroom. Sarah arranged the massage table and covered the table with a sheet. She brought out the massage oils and laid them next to the bed. Sarah then left the room and informed Robeson that Jeff would be in a minute. Jeff entered the bedroom wearing only a towel. He removed the towel and laid completely unclothed on the massaging table. He laid onto his stomach, picked a massage oil for Robeson and to rub on him. And during the massage, Robeson stated, quote, he tried to touch me and I stopped him. Aw. I asked how he tried to touch her. Robeson stated that Jeffrey grabbed her backside and she felt uncomfortable. She told Robeson, I'll massage you. Robeson told Jeff, I'll massage you, but I don't want to be touched. She stated that she performed the massage completely unclothed. And at the conclusion of the massage, he paid her $200. After the massage, Jeff stated to Robeson that he understood she was not comfortable, listen, but he would pay her if she brought over some girls. He told her the younger, the better. Robeson stated she once tried to bring a 23-year-old, and Jeff stated that that female was too old. Robeson stated that in total, she only remembers 6 girls that she brought to Jeff. Each time she was paid $200. Robeson stated that she had brought the following girls: SG, redacted, JS, a 16-year-old, YL, a 16-year-old, And redacted. Robeson said that at the time she brought these girls to Jeff's house, they were all 14 through 16 years of age. I asked Robeson which one was the youngest. Robeson advised SG was the youngest, as she was just 14 when the massage occurred. Robeson stated every girl she brought knew what to expect when they arrived. They were told they would provide a massage, possibly undressed, and allow some touching. I asked her if SG was aware. She stated every girl she brought knew what to expect. She explained she knew that SG wanted to make money. She approached SG and explained about going to work for Jeff. SG agreed and arrangements were made to bring her to Jeff's house on a weekend. Robeson stated that she and redacted picked up SG at her house. She stated that at that time she was driving a red pickup truck, which is exactly what SG's daddy said. They traveled to Jeff's house and entered through the kitchen door. They met with Sarah, led SG upstairs, and Jeff went upstairs. When the massage was over, SG returned to the kitchen area. Robeson stated she was paid $200 for bringing SG to Jeff's house. And Robeson stated SG told her she was paid $300 for the massage. Robeson stated that SG was the last person she brought to Jeff's house. She had changed her cellular number to avoid being contacted by Sarah. Oh, I like it. I like it. Looks pretty cool. My grandson draws. Similar. He's good. We just have different styles, and I love his drawings. So he came out here to share with me. All right. She stated that she changed her number to avoid being contacted by Sarah. She continued stating that she had no direct contact with Jeff. When he was going to travel to Palm Beach, she said when Jeff announces to his assistant, Sarah, that he is traveling to Palm Beach, Sarah would then contact Robeson to arrange girls to quote unquote work for Jeff. Yeah, 23 was too old, B. Mitchell. Robeson stated that once her parents discovered that she was visiting Jeff, they disapproved of the encounters with him and she stopped. She further stated that Sarah still tries to call her house and leaves messages. Sergeant Frick entered the room and explained to Robeson that based on her own statements, she had implicated herself by bringing underage girls to Jeff's house. Robeson provided cellular telephone numbers for the girls she had previously mentioned. Additionally, she also provided possible addresses and areas in which they lived. As Robeson was being taken home in the vehicle, a tape recorder was placed within the vehicle to record any conversations within the vehicle. Driving back to her home, Robeson made the comment, quote, "I'm like a Heidi Fleiss." Y'all know who Heidi Fleiss is, right? She was the Hollywood madam. Robeson was dropped off at her house without incident. She's 19 years old. She's an idiot. She's 19 years old. And she was recruited at 16. She had just turned 17. Well, Jackson, you know why there haven't been arrests in this country. Donald Trump is the president, and this is his administration. He controls the FBI and the DOJ. That is why. It's not rocket science as to why nobody's being arrested here. Seriously. All right. So on October 3rd, 2005, Sergeant Frick and I went to speak with JS, a 16-year-old female who was brought to Jeff's residence by Haley Robeson. So this one is really interesting because at the beginning, because her mother's there, she denies everything. She ends up coming back and calling them later and telling them everything. Because her parents were present during the interview. So MAGA victory, I don't know if you like are aware of the timeline, right? During the Biden administration, they were prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's appeals weren't even finished until, I want to say, 2020. Hold on. When were Ghislaine, hold on, Maxwell's appeals finished? Yeah, September 2024. So for people who don't get how it works, okay, it would be really irresponsible of Biden's DOJ to release the files while there is an ongoing case that is in the appellate process. Her appeals were not over until September of 2024. That's it, folks. That's why. So this is not difficult for people to get. And I think one of the things that I think that people should kind of put into perspective, when Joe Biden took office, we were in the middle of a global pandemic. Good morning, Tiff. We were in the middle of a global pandemic. Millions of people had unalived because of C-19. Infrastructure all around the world was discombobulated, right? We were having trouble getting groceries, all of those different things, right? We were trying to roll out vaccinations for people. We had just had an attempted coup on the government, January 6th. I think that at that moment, President Biden had other things that needed his more urgent attention. That's just it. Period. And by the way, had the American people gotten the last election right and put Kamala Harris in office, we would have had these files and people would be prosecuted. That's what she is. She is a prosecutor at her heart. That is exactly what would have happened. You want to know why Donald Trump's not locked up yet? Because 83 million of you didn't bother to fucking vote. That's why. Do you want to know why things haven't happened at this point? Because 83 million of you stayed the fuck home and didn't vote. Okay? You want to be mad about Medicaid and SNAP? Talk to your friends that are part of the 83 million people that sat at home and didn't vote. I mean, this isn't rocket science, folks. I'll tell you the things that would not be happening right now. If Kamala Harris was the president of the United States of America, there would be no $10 million lawsuit against the IRS from the president of the United States. That wouldn't be happening. There wouldn't be the president of the United States trying to give $10 billion of taxpayer money to the fucking Board of Peace that hasn't even achieved a ceasefire in Gaza. You wouldn't have ICE going around the country dragging brown people out of their vehicles and unaliving citizens. That wouldn't be happening. If Kamala Harris was in office, you would have never seen the National Guard mobilized against American cities and citizens and put on the streets of this country. that wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't have our allies working together on how to distance themselves from us. That wouldn't be happening. Like, if Kamala Harris had won in 2024, we would not have been committing war crimes in international waters. Right? The president of the United States would have never taken a $400 million plane from Qatar. If Kamala Harris had been president, Israel wouldn't have been able to keep a 16-year-old American citizen in their prison for 10 months. That wouldn't have happened. USAID would have never been gutted. Our farmers would not be in the position that they're in because those USAID contracts were cut. Kamala Harris would have never gone to court to try to get the Supreme Court to allow the government not to feed people. This president went to court to try to not give you SNAP benefits. So I don't care whether you like her or don't like her. I don't care if you have always voted Republican or whatever. I literally give zero fucks about any of that, people. What I can tell you is that we would not be in the situation that we are in right now if she was still the president. We would actually have qualified career medical individuals running the CDC if she was the president. Because currently, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but currently at the CDC, we don't have a single career medical professional in the leadership positions. RFK Jr. has fired them all, or they've resigned. None of them are there. If Kamala Harris was the president, the damn American Academy of Pediatrics would not have to put out public statements saying, hey, don't listen to the Health and Human Services office. Let's just trust the science and do what we need to do for our kids. It's just that simple. So you can think whatever you want to think about her. But this is the truth. This is the truth, and these are facts. It is so critically important that we get these midterms right. I cannot say that enough. I cannot say that enough. I don't care whether you like the candidate or not. I don't give a shit. And I don't mean to sound however, but let me just say this, folks. It's great if you want to pray, hope, chant, send good energy, light a candle, whatever. And you better take your ass and go vote. And you better be talking to the people that are in your circles of influence. You better be talking to your family and your friends and making sure they take their ass to vote, because prayers and Hail Marys is not enough. Prayers and Hail Marys are not enough. Faith without works is dead. Just so that everyone is clear about that. You know, I talk a lot in here about what we need to do to move forward. How do we win? How do we stop the bleed that this country currently has going, right? How do we get things level set so that we can move forward? And guess what, folks? I don't want to rebuild what we had, because what we had didn't fucking work. And the one thing that the one glimmer that I will take out of what this administration has done by tearing shit up the way they have is we have the opportunity to rebuild it in a way that works for regular average Americans. That's the deal. The one good thing about them tearing all of our shit up is we now know where our vulnerabilities are. We know where our weaknesses are. We know where laws can be exploited. And we have the opportunity to shore them up and to build something different that works for the average person. You know, I was live, I don't know whether it was yesterday or the day before, right? And people were saying, so what can we do besides contact our elected officials, vote, and protest? And I said, there's all types of things that you can do, right? I've talked about this all the time. So I am a progressive populist. That's what I am. My political ideology is progressive because I believe in inclusion and diversity and differences and all of those things, right? I believe in balance. I believe in the average American being able to make a livable wage, right? So I am progressive. And I'm a populist, which means I'm for the people. Billionaires, centimillionaires, listen, you're probably not going to be a fan of me because I don't care. When you could easily give away 5% of your wealth and never miss it because you'll never in your lifetime spend everything you have, and yet you're hoarding it while children starve. Don't ask for me to have any sympathy or consideration for you. I'm going to have as much sympathy and consideration for you as you are having for everyone else. When you literally have enough wealth to feed every child in the world, when you have enough wealth for no one to be unhoused, I will have no sympathy for you. I'll give you as much sympathy as you give people empathy. And since you don't even have empathy and you all are arguing that empathy is a bad word, I'll give you none. And that's what I mean. So for me, things that you can do, you really want to do things, right? There's tons of things. I said this the other day. Make an infographic. Make an infographic that on one side says myth and the other side says fact, right? Oh yeah, Angie, listen, Moms for Liberty is going to school boards and telling them that teachers should not teach empathy, that empathy is a bad thing. Charlie Kirk said the same thing. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what he said about empathy. He said, quote, I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made up new age term that does a lot of damage. Oh, and you need to know about Moms for Liberty. If you have children in school, you need to know about Moms for Liberty because they are trying to take over everybody's damn school board all across this country. Just so we're clear. Yeah, that's who's behind your book banning. Moms for Liberty. 100%. So, but literally, guys, you want to do something, invite your friends over. Invite your girls over, your boys over. Make a little infographic that's not partisan, that doesn't talk about Democrats or Republicans. Just have myth and fact and put the stats about Medicaid on there. If you're in Virginia, it should say Cardinal Care. If you're in Tennessee, it should say TennCare. If you're in Wisconsin, it should say Badger Care, right? And on one side, state the facts. On the other side, put the myth. What are they talking about it? Like, for example, one myth, people that are on Medicaid don't work. Guess what? The average person in this country, 70% of the people on Medicaid that are of working age work. Either full or part-time, they work. 70%. It's not a thing that people on Medicaid aren't working. It's not a thing. And then you just list the sources for all your information. I showed the website with all the stats. In my link tree, there's a link to graphics that I've made for people to use. And let me just say this, billionaires employ people. They do. And they do it getting ridiculous tax breaks from the states in which they build their facilities. They don't pay livable wages. And then the government has to foot the bill to give aid to the people they employ because they won't pay them enough. So I don't want to hear that shit that, oh, billionaires are so great because they employ people. I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear that. If you want to employ people but not pay them a livable wage, you need to go. You don't deserve the breaks that you get. It's just that simple. If the state allows you to come and build your facility, and in return, you don't have to pay your taxes, right? Then you should be required to pay people a livable wage. The government should not have to pick up your tab. Walmart. So listen, folks, I don't know how to make this any clearer. Okay. So listen to me. There's a whole bunch of them. Amazon, you name it, right? If we want something different, folks, they're never going to give it to us. Power concedes nothing without demand. Power concedes nothing without demand. And that is the only way we've ever gotten corporations to do the right thing. That is why we have unions. Folks, this is a new time, and I can't say this enough. This is a new time. Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce is not neutral in shit. They definitely are not neutral. The United States of America is the only country that doesn't have universal health care. Every other country has figured out how to make it work. Why are we the only country that ties people's ability to see a doctor and be healthy to work and who we work for? And then they talk about, oh, we need to promote small businesses. Small businesses don't have the ability to offer health insurance and benefits. Mom and pop shops can't do that. Right. That's exactly why. No, Angie, we're not the only capitalists. And we don't have, let me tell you something, what we have isn't capitalism. We have vulture capitalism. Real capitalism means you want a free market. You want competition, because competition makes for improved quality, higher wages, better benefits. When people know they can leave you and go to work for this company, making better money or getting better benefits, you will do right. And every time, and what we have now is ridiculous monopolization. That monopolization has created extreme wealth for a handful of people, and they are dominating not just one market, but damn near every market that we have, including our media. And that's a problem. So I'm just like, really, folks, I cannot stress this enough. I don't even see Remember America's First comments. But I'm happy to talk to Remember America First if they want to join the panel. I'm happy to do that. And by the way, you guys, the document that I was reading today, the probable cause affidavit, is in my link tree. And in addition to that, so like I'm putting together an actual plan on how we do things. So if you want to know what to do and how to organize and how we mobilize and how we ensure that we have a Democratic majority in Congress come November, go to my link tree, which is in my profile, and register for the event that I'm doing March the 8th at 6:00. That's how you ensure that you can hear that. And I've given some people a sneak peek, but I'm not sneak peeking anymore. Not sneak peeking anymore. Yeah, they want monopolization. It'll be on Google Meet, VJ. The 2017 tax cut was good for millionaires and billionaires. So this isn't a training, just me. This isn't a training. This is literally me launching out an actual blueprint on how we get this shit together. Because I haven't seen a blueprint from the Democratic Party. The same way they had Project Esther, I have a Project 2025. This is my project. Oh, thank you, Carla. It's in my, yeah, if you go to my profile, it's in my profile. That's where it is. What's up? Salon Pedal. Folks, do you want to know what's it called? Girl, don't make me lie. Hold on, Carla. It says, it takes my link tree a while to load because there's a lot in it. It is for the people meeting registration. Let me put this. Hold on. I'm going to do project for the people registration. March 8th. There, I labeled it. So maybe that'll be better. Yep, you're welcome. I'll actually raise it up because I did have it at the top and then I've added more to the link tree, obviously. Okay. So, yeah, so I put it at the top now, Carla. Yeah, I know, Colleen. We talked about it. Sounds good, Renee. All right. So, no, Marilyn, I'm not running for office. No, ma'am. And the reason why I'm not running for office is I have zero desire to be part of the wheel. I am more effective on the outside, talking to the people, helping people that do want to run. Hey, Pinton, all of those types of things. So this is the space where I know I'm most effective. You can look at somebody like Bernie Sanders, who's brilliant and has great ideas. And I'm not aware of any legislation he's been able to get through. You know what I mean? Love that, Jenny. Like, I desire to be effective. And so this is kind of this is my happy place. I love that, just me. Y'all are wild. Okay, so yep, cog versus wheel. Exactly. And it's important, folks, for you to know what your part is and what your role is and where you are best suited, right? It's important for you to know that. Everyone should know that. Not everybody can run for office. Not everybody can be, am I the party of the Democrats? No. Nope. I don't belong to a particular party. I have political ideology, but I'm not part of a particular party. So, and that's the biggest difference between myself and other people. Mark, if you wanna ask me questions and talk to me, feel free to request to come on up to the panel. Correct. I don't have an allegiance to any party. I have an allegiance to this country. I have an allegiance to the country. I'm a veteran. So no, I don't have an allegiance to a party. I have an allegiance to the country and the Constitution. Yeah, not a party. Just coming in. I don't know if it will pass or not. I thought you had to go, America First. You're still here. I mean, you don't know what my ideology is. And I don't think that you're somebody who knows what's good for the country. So, how about that? So, like I said, Mark, if you would like to talk to me, you are more than welcome to request up. So I want to go to my second topic, which is Israel, Trump, Jeffrey, ICE, and the economy will be why the GOP loses big in the midterms. Those 5 things. Those 5 things will be the reason why the GOP loses in the midterms. Technically, no, Carla. Technically, no. Right, Tamara. Yeah, everybody, I get asked that question every day. You're welcome, Irvet. Yeah, I get asked to run for office every day, and my answer is still the same. No. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a couple of things. Okay, why I believe those things will be detrimental to the GOP. Israel has succeeded in doing something that that no one else has been able to do in terms of the MAGA movement. Okay. And they didn't do it intentionally. Put what in my backdrop? What do I need to put in my backdrop? All right. So what I say is the reason Israel will be, oh, I got you, Jay Bird. So the reason that Israel, it will be one of the things that is why the GOP loses in the midterms is because Israel has succeeded in doing something that no one else has done. Okay. No one else has done. Yeah, well, Teresa, considering that you have a new Dem governor who's been in office like 6 weeks, I would imagine your utility bills don't have anything to do with them. Yeah. So like when people take office, they're not like genies. Like things don't just like they do things one day and you see it the next day. Typically not. Unless you're Trump and you're fucking around with, the Dow. So your friends can get rich. Okay. Like, but other than that, yeah, your new Democratic governor doesn't have anything to do with your electric bill. She literally just took office. Well, of course they're blaming her because they don't think that people are smart enough to know that she just took office and they didn't do anything. Well, no, I'm not a Democrat, Mark. Why is that difficult for you? Here, I sent you an invitation, Mark. Why don't you come to the panel? Good afternoon. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. So I am not a Democrat.
I looked at one of your videos and you support a Democrat.
That doesn't mean I am a Democrat.
You are not a Republican, though.
I have voted for Republicans too.
Okay, recently?
Depends on what you call recent. So here's what I will say, Mark. Mark, I don't vote based on party. I don't vote based on party. I vote based on policy. And I have voted both Republican and Democrat in my lifetime. Why is that a difficult thing to get?
You're either one way or the other, and you...
No, you're not. So this is the thing. So Mark, hold on for a second. Hold on, please. So things are not either or. And that's what they would like for you to think, that things are either or, but they're not. They're not. I have a varying degree of opinions. And it's not just this or that.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How many genders are there?
how many genders are there?
Yeah, I mean, the traditional conservative view would be a male and female, man and a woman. Do you agree or disagree, or don't wish to share your knowledge?
So let me ask you this. What is the difference between gender and sex?
I asked you first.
Yeah, I know. Well, your response to this will help me determine how best to answer you.
Okay, let me be as polite as I can be. You don't want to answer the question.
No, I do want to answer the question. I'm very serious, Mark. Listen, Mark.
You're on a rabbit trail.
No, Mark. I really need in order for me to answer your question, I need to know what is the difference, if you know the difference between sex and gender.
Did you live in the 80s?
Yeah, I'm over 50 years old.
I'm 57. You're probably a few years younger than me.
What's your point?
You're very intelligent and smart, and it's either you can answer without asking a question, or you're not going to. So
no, I'm going to answer your question. I don't know. So Mark, I don't know who you're used to getting on platforms with. I don't run my platform like other people do. I'm not the whole like gotcha moment, debate, crash out. Like that's not the way that I do things here.
Okay.
And there are folks. So the reason why I'm asking you that is because it will impact the way that I answer your question.
Well, let me ask you let me rephrase it in a different way. The color white and the color black, are they one and the same, or are they two different colors?
They are opposite ends of the same spectrum.
Okay, is black and white 3 colors or 2 colors?
Did you not hear what I said? Do you know how? So listen, black and white literally don't exist without the other, and they are opposite ends of the same spectrum. And the question that I'm asking you, listen, I could have answered your question by now. If you will just answer my question, I need clarifying information. So my question to you is, so that I can answer your question, is what is the difference between sex and gender?
Let me ask you a different way. In a different way, the 2 directions up and down, are they 5 directions or 2 directions up and down? Or right and left, are they 3 different ways or 2? Right and left, up and down, day and night.
Do you want me to answer your question, Mark?
I mean, I can't make it any more simple, but the typical
talking all these other things that are hypotheticals that don't have anything to do with it don't help me answer your question. They don't help me answer your question.
Because you don't want them to have anything to do with it. You're not.
What are you talking about?
Logical at all. You're not being logical.
I am. Listen, the only thing that I ask you is, what is the difference between gender and sex? And the way that you answer that question will determine how I answer your question to me. That's it. We've wasted all this time. What if you just answer my question? I could have answered yours by now.
You see, I don't play that game. That's the Democratic trap. I'm old school like you.
What's a trap?
80s and 70s.
What is it? How is asking for clarification a trap?
How many genders are there?
Oh my God.
According to the Bible, according to God.
Okay, so first of all,
in the beginning, God created.
Okay, so again,
male and female.
Mark. Okay, we can talk. We can talk about the Bible if you would like. We can talk about the Bible, because things that are important. So, would you say that God created all life? Is God how we got babies. Babies are born and they are from God.
Now you're going further than
I'm asking you, do we come from God? Did God create us?
how many genders are there?
Genders are a societal social construct. The majority of the population refers to two genders, male and female, which is a completely separate conversation than how people choose to identify or their pronoun choice.
Gotta ask you, are you a PhD?
No.
Okay, well, have a good day. And
So wait, Mark, I answered your question. I answered male and female. And so now what I'm asking you, wait, you got to ask me a question. I get to ask you one. So my question to you, Mark, is what is the difference between sex and gender? That's my question.
And I will answer it in this way: I have the right to remain silent. Thank you.
Well, you do,
I
but
think you're very polite, you're very pleasant, but the simple things you just don't get. And
I get them and I answered your question.
But you don't get them in a natural, normal way that most people will comprehend.
No, but I do. I talk to most people all day long. I talk to people who are Republicans all day long. I talk to people who are MAGA all day long.
When somebody asks you a question, then you turn around and ask them another question that has nothing to do with the original question.
No, but it did. My question was about gender. My question was about gender, which was a clarifying question. All I asked you was a clarifying question.
That's not how I play this game.
I'm not playing a game. And maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference, Mark, is you are trying to play a game and you're trying to win an argument and I'm trying to have a conversation. Like you're playing a game.
The original question.
No, I answered your original question.
It's a term called diversion.
No. Okay, so Mark, maybe you didn't hear me. I'm gonna give you the answer that I gave you a minute ago again. Okay, here's the answer. Gender is a social construct in which in society, the vast majority of society refers to two genders, male and female. That is complete and separate from how people identify and their chosen pronouns. That is my full response to how many genders are there. I just told you there are two. That's how the majority of people refer to them, as male and female. That's not difficult.
That's basically, you just had to refer to the latter end of what you had said. Now, my question, I'll ask again. Do you have a PhD?
I have answered that once already. No.
Well, you know what? You don't. And if you had a PhD, you could reason with your line of reasoning, but without a PhD or without higher education, I don't see the need for you to answer it in that manner.
Well, you don't get to determine how I answer, though. You asked me a question, I answered. And you have yet to answer my question.
And you asked another question.
I've asked one question since you got up here on my panel.
You're trying to go woke on me.
No, I'm trying to ask your ass a question.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not hard, Mark.
A question with another question. And you're going in.
I answered your question, Mark.
Very evasive, very evasive.
Mark, I answered your question directly. I literally answered your question directly. I even named the genders. I answered your question directly. The question that I asked you, be nice in the comments, you all. Guys, be nice. Listen, I have 4 guidelines for being in this space, and you guys know that. Be respectful. Don't use slurs. Don't spam my comments. And don't type in all caps. So be respectful in the comments, folks. Okay? So, Mark, I don't do gotcha moments. And I know that that's what you're used to. And I can tell by the way that you don't want to answer my question is not a got you moment. Sherry, are you in here? Is Sherry in here? Sean in here? Southern accent. Are any of you guys in here? And the reason I'm asking for those people, those are all people that were MAGA and Republican that I have had on my panel. We've talked at length and they come back a lot. I have conversations, Mark. So the reason I am asking that question is because it is relevant. You asked me a question about gender. And so I am asking you also a question about gender. If you can ask me how many genders there are, I can ask you to give me the difference between gender and sex.
Basically, it boils down to I asked the question and you didn't give a straight out honest answer. You asked my question with another question. It's just like liberal thinking, democratic liberal thinking, wokeness, and I'm not.
Mark, can you define woke for me?
Do you have a PhD?
What is woke?
Do you have a PhD?
What is woke?
Do you have a PhD?
I'm not answering a question I've already answered.
Well, you know what? I just want you to enjoy your Friday today.
I always enjoy my day.
That's good. We can agree to disagree, but
I don't agree to disagree. I don't agree to disagree.
I'm not playing your game anymore.
I don't agree to disagree, and I don't play games.
13 years old.
I don't agree to disagree because when I give facts, there are facts.
Put their hand in the cookie jar.
Mark, again.
It's either yes, you did, Johnny,
again,
or no, you didn't, Johnny.
Mark, I answered you.
Yes or no. It's not 5 different directives.
Mark, are you a parent? Are you a parent?
It is what it is.
Are you a parent?
Asking a question with another question isn't gonna cut it.
Are you a parent?
Do you have a PhD?
Are you a parent?
Do you have a
PhD?
So
Mark, let me just.
Do you have a master's? Do you have a master's? I know you have military in your background. You're